Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another classic film review. Today's classic film review is for the 1990 horror sequel, The Exorcist 3, a film that was written and directed by William Peter Blatty, and it was based on his book Legion, and it stars George C. Scott, Ed Flanders, Brad Dourif, Jason Miller, Nicole Williamson, Scott Wilson and Nancy Fish. Now this film is really the true sequel to The Exorcist. We won't talk about Exorcist 2. And this was, like I say, released in 1990, and I do remember at the time, I didn't see it when it was first released because I hadn't seen the first Exorcist at that point. But I do remember when it was first released, it got kind of a lukewarm reception by many. And it's one of those films that has garnered much more admiration and respect over the years, and is now regarded as a very, very good horror film first and Exorcist film second, I suppose. Now, like I said, it was based on the book Legion by William Peter Blatty that he released in 1983, I think. And the final film that we got was not exactly the book that he wrote. There were a few problems with this film in regards to its production that are quite famous. There's many videos on YouTube about it. I'm not going to go into loads of detail about it. But essentially the studio wanted another Exorcist film, really, so they ordered a few reshoots here and there so that there was an exorcism included in the film, and a few more gory, scary scenes, etc. So that it was more of a direct sequel to the first one. If William Peter Blatty had been allowed to make the film he wanted, it would have been probably more of a thriller than a horror. And if you do pick up this version of The Exorcist 3, the Arrow version, it comes with the Legion director's cut, which is essentially the original film that William Peter Blatty wanted to make. However, it's been cut together using the old VHS tapes and things like that, so it's kind of a rough watch, and in my opinion I prefer the theatrical version, if I'm being perfectly honest, but it's all about taste really. Some people much prefer the Legion version. I've always liked the theatrical version. I thought it was a very, very effective horror film. And the story this time round is George C. Scott plays Kinderman, who was, if you remember, the police detective in the first Exorcist film. Now, obviously, they couldn't use the same actor because the actor that played the detective in the first film had passed away by the time this was made. So they had to recast the role, and it was George C. Scott. Great choice, great actor. We have Ed Flanders, who plays Father Dyer, who was also a different actor in the first film, so they had to recast that part. And this time round, the film focuses on a series of brutal killings that are taking place that carry the MO of the Gemini killer, who was a serial killer that died in the electric chair many years previously. This then leads George C. Scott's character Kinderman to a patient X, who is being held at like a mental facility in there. It leads him to there, and it leads into a startling revelation, and spoilers here guys, that it is in fact Father Karras, played by Jason Miller, who is in this facility and claiming to be the Gemini killer. Right, so that's essentially the baseline story here, and how it connects to the first one, if you like. And essentially what happened here was, and again spoilers, when Father Karras died at the end of the first Exorcist, or we thought he appeared to die, the spirit, if you like, was kind of kept in there, and the demon that left his body kind of captured the essence of the Gemini killer when he was killed on the electric chair, forced it into Father Karras' body, and then he spent the next 15 years trying to mend his brain so that he could come back and continue his killing ways, using his new supernatural gifts, if you like. Sounds a bit extravagant, I know, but it really works in the film. Now, what also makes this film work is Brad Dourif's performance. Incredible. Now, this was quite a troubled production. I think the evidence is out there. There's loads of videos on YouTube as to why this was such a troubled production. The cast, they wanted Jason Miller. It says on the documentary, on the video from Brad Dourif, that he was an alcoholic, Jason Miller, and he couldn't remember the lines, it wasn't working, etc. So they cast him. He filmed his part, then they used Jason Miller to replace Brad Dourif, and then eventually they went with the version that we see in the theatrical cut, which is clips of both of them. So when you see Jason Miller character, he's kind of being Father Karras, and then when you see Brad Dourif, it's the Gemini killer, really prominent, that personality coming out. Again, it sounds a bit odd, but it works brilliantly in the movie, and Brad Dourif's performance is extraordinary. It really is an extraordinary performance from a brilliant character actor, and it really enhances the creepiness of the film. And that's one thing that really gets you with this film. It's real creepy. It's not in-your-face horror like the first one. It's a much more psychological approach this time. Yes, it does get a little bit Exorcist by the end. There is an exorcism that takes place, or attempts to take place, if you like, that works really well. There's one of the most famous jump scares in all of horror movie history here, as you can see the clip there. The first time I saw that, I jumped nearly 6 feet out of my chair. It was terrifying, and it's just a really satisfying film. Now, when I got this recently, I hadn't seen it for quite a few years, and I wanted to get it and rewatch it because I watched The Exorcist with my wife at Halloween, and she'd never seen this version. Well, she'd never seen The Exorcist 3, didn't even know it existed really. So I wanted to get it and show it her so that she could see how the story continued, and she was really impressed with it as well. It's just a wonderful sequel that I'm really pleased is now getting the recognition that it deserves. It's fantastically done, very scary at times, really psychological, brilliant performances. George C. Scott is extraordinary in this part as well in this film. It's great to see Jason Miller back as Father Karras. Brad Dourif is incredible, and it's just a really good, really fantastic sequel. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed this one. So yeah, thanks for watching everybody. I hope you enjoyed this classic film review. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I will be back with more reviews and content on Screenstars very soon.